Bhartiya Nyay Sanhita includes mob lynching as a separate offence in the Act. So, BNS in the short form, Bhartiya Nyay Sanhita. So, we will see what is the provision in the BNS. Section 103 subsection 2 of BNS, which is 103 is all about punishment for murder provided in BNS, and subsection 2 of the same provides for 5 or more persons acting in concert. 5 or more persons acting in concert commits murder on the ground of race. These are the grounds on which, if the murder is committed on those grounds only then 103 subsection 2 would be attracted. So, if murder by 5 or more persons acting in concert, so acting in concert would be, the courts would have to examine, interpret that how it is different from common object and common intention. So, murder on the ground of race, caste or community, sex, place of birth, language, personal belief or any other similar ground. So, if murder by 5 or more persons in concert committed on the ground of race, caste, community, sex, place of birth, language, personal belief or any other similar ground, then each member of the group liable for death or ally and fine. So, the offence provides for capital punishment, and anybody who's doing and anybody forming a group of 5 or more persons and they are acting in concert and kill somebody on those grounds, it will be a murder falling under section 103 subsection 2 of the BNS. So, BNS recognizes mob lynching, but not directly using the term lynching, but obviously the provision, as these are the some of the grounds provided on which if the murder is committed on these grounds, it shows that community, race, caste, sex, place of birth, language, personal belief, those are the grounds in which this mob lynching, which was really prevalent in India. There are multiple cases which happened in past. Looking to the provision, it is clear that the mob lynching is included in this provision, and this provision not using term mob lynching shows that they are object to make such a provision which includes other undefined offences which can fall under this subsection. So, this is the provision which provides for capital punishment. So, this is, as I said, lynching and 5 or more persons in concert. So, lynching is not used here, but 5 or more person in concert is been used. This term has been used just to it is the intent that to cover all the acts of killing by 5 or more people forming a joint group with any object. Now, what is the meaning of lynching? So, lynching refers to beating, hurting or killing individuals by group of people or mob collectively without any hearing or trial. So, if you hear the term vigilantism is a term which means that when the crowd without support of law enforcement executes anything by its own, so when the crowd becomes the law enforcement itself, then this is called vigilantism. So, we will talk about mob lynching earlier, what was the provision. So, there were no express provisions in the penal laws about the mob lynching. Provisions for murder, culpable homicide, rioting, unlawful assembly used to attract in earlier occasions. There were no provisions. So, this was the difficulty when there is no express provision in the law books, becoming difficult to set people liable after these instances of mob lynching. So, there was obviously a requirement, as even the Honorable Apex Court has stated its view to make a separate provision for mob lynching. So, that's why it was required. Earlier, section 153 capital A, which was communal violence, and on some similar grounds which are under section 103 subsection 2 of BNS right now. So, when the communal disharmony was the reason of lynching, then obviously this provision there was no option but to attract this section there. And also in cases of murder by public, 302 read with 148 of IPC used to apply, and joint liability for 149 IPC was there, and in other cases of hurt or causing grievous hurt, these 323, 324, 326 used to attract. Now, we will in short talk about reasons for lynching. So, one of the leading reasons, as we analyze in Indian society, in Indian judicial system, delay in justice is seen to be one of the biggest reasons for lynching, because when people lose hope in judicial system just because there is a delay in justice, because in some cases even 40 to 50 years even are taken by the courts of law, sometimes 20 years, 30 years. If you file an appeal, in final hearing it takes sometimes 20 years, 25 years. So even if a case is decided within 2-3 years from a trial court, then you have to challenge the same before the higher courts, and then higher courts take time. So judicial system, the hierarchy there, it takes a lot of time in getting justice from the courts of law here. So this is the one of the reasons that people get frustrated, that obviously courts of law would take a lot of time. There are provisions of equal opportunity, there is a provision of taking of evidence, collection of evidence, investigation. So the judicial system in India, the pendency there, the procedure there is obviously time taking. So this is one of the leading reasons, and that's why we are moving towards speedy disposal of cases, speedy trials. Some examples of mob lynching there, that in Dimapur district of Nagaland, a person who was arrested for rape, he was killed by angry mob that entered inside central jail, dragged out the accused and killed him. So this is an example where the mob is frustrated, and when they lose hope that obviously either it will take a long time there for convicting the accused person by having a trial there, or there are chances that even because there are principles of law that he may, if there is no direct evidence or there are doubts, then he may get acquitted even. So when the people at large number lose hope in judiciary, lose hope in judicial system, there are circumstances where people might get angry, frustrated, and out of frustration they may commit such things, the lynching and killing the people publicly. Now there are so many instances in India where cow vigilantism is there. You can see there that people who are carrying cow, even for whatever purpose they are people belonging to Hindu philosophy beliefs, if they ask and they have doubt about that, if the cows are being slaughtered, such people are lynched by such group of people. So there are instances where the cows are very important for Hinduism, they are regarded sacred in Hinduism. So cow cases relating to being slaughtered or cow being taken away doubtfully, cow vigilantism is also reason of lynching, as there are so many cases where some Muslim people are taking cow to some place, or they are carrying cow in their vehicle, and the Hindu move them inquiring and why are you taking these cows, and if they are unable to answer satisfactorily, or if it is found out that it is for slaughter, then in those cases there are instances where people are even killed. So even the same scenarios with beef, as beef is also banned because it is beef is a meal prepared by slaughtering, killing cows. So this is cow vigilantism. Also one instance in 2016 where one Majloom Ansari 32 and Imtiaz Ansari were taking their cattle to a fair, and the mob lynched them and their bodies were hanged down to a tree. So these are the instances where public executions are done just because some Muslim people were taking cow or castles to slaughter to sell for beef and all. So whatever may be the reason, even if religious communal sentiments are broken or mistreated by people there, stop such instances to take care of these events which are rising day to day, day by day they are rising, such cases are rising. That's why this law was also important. There are some other reasons that communal hatred and religious intolerance is pre-existing elements are there, as there are instances of already pre-existing instances of communal disharmony, as we are obviously unity and diversity, but there may also be some circumstances where minority or majority may face off on some occasions or some disparities. So definitely that may be pre-existing factor about any cases where comes a saturation point for one group of people, community, against something which is done by some other community. So that is one of the reasons there. lack of education and awareness, obviously, because if you you have knowledge about the laws there, you have awareness about the legal system in India, then obviously people, if educated, they'll be acting more mature in mature manner. So this is one of the uh, main reasons, and obviously a requirement that if people are educated about it properly, people are getting awareness about the same, that this is not a way to do justice to the society, to the people. So this is also a reason that we lack as a society understanding, awareness, the knowledge about the legal system. So fake news is also one of the reasons that some, if there were as news, maybe fake news may be spreading over internet or Facebook, WhatsApp, where people are spreading or claiming false facts about something, that something is being done which may be against the community or group of people, and then out of provocation such instances, such cases are done, such things are done there. So fake news is also, as sometimes social media is also being used as a weapon there to spread fake news and to create disharmony. There are some fake propagandas being made against one community by some group of people. Some people may even on social media. So fake propagandas create something which actually causes hatred amongst people. There may come confusion, and there may be dilemma about riots and lynching, but these two things are completely different. As a riot is group of people either targeting rival community, whole community, and agitating even against the governance. And then lynching is individuals accused of something of which people are angry about and decides to take law into their hands and punish culprit publicly, which means that lynching is something where the group of people are targeting some individuals, not the whole community or whole belonging of the people there, against which they are having something they are angry about, they may have any opposition about. But lynching is different from rioting. So this is how in rioting cases, there may be the group of people having a belonging there may riot against the whole community or whole system there, the governance there. But in lynching, the group of people are targeting an individual either, or the group individual people there, some individuals there, not the whole community or the whole mechanism system, the law and order. So this is how lynching and riots are different. So why separate provision for lynching was required? As held in Punewala case, Tehseen Punewala versus Union of India, in which it was held by the court that if the lynching cases will remain unchecked, lynching may become a new normal in India, as a particular specific offence must be there to stop such cases, to set people liable directly against such activities. So it was required to control such instances. Absence of a specific provision causing problem in scrutinizing cases of lynching from other cases. So there, it was becoming very difficult to differentiate the cases. Like if lynching is done, then it will come under rioting and murder. So it was not these were not the right provisions to held people liable under those sections, because rioting and murder, and these are not the same in both the cases. That's why separate provision was need of the hour. Strict punishment was required, as now capital punishment is there. Lynching was against the rule of law, obviously, because every person has right to be treated as equal, and also it was violative of Article 14, 15 and 21 of Constitution of India, as 21 provides that nobody can be deprived of his life without except the procedure established by law. So these such activities were obviously hitting the very basic fundamental rights under the Constitution of India. And then lynching was the threat to communal harmony in India. So communal harmony was definitely being affected by such cases, because if one community individual is being hit by or is killed by a group of people belonging to another community, there is obviously a scenario being created of disharmony amongst the community there. So it was a great threat, as to a country enjoys unity and diversity. This harmony is the very basic requirement there amongst community. Talking about the landmark judgment and guidelines, so Tehseen Punewala versus Union of India, this is a case of 2018, and it was held by Honorable Apex Court that no one can take a law in his hands, either individual or group of people, and directions were given in this judgment that there will be a nodal officer appointed in each district who is not below the rank of superintendent of police to prevent incidents of mob lynching and cow vigilantism. So, and also suo motu FIR to be filed against people spreading fake news, because fake news was the source of provocation and anger amongst people there, and compensation scheme must be there for victim under section 357 capital A of CRPC, fast track courts for lynching cases, and parliament must make a separate provision, and which is now becoming a reality as it was stated in the judgment. So this was the landmark judgment. There are other judgments also, but this was one of the judgments, the first judgments you can say, where the guidelines were actually given by the Honorable Apex Court. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe the channel.